So if we prepare our environment for an AirWatch deployment, we can first of all establish a secure communication with our iOS devices. So our iOS devices again are going to be using APNS, Apple Push Notification Services. This is a very easy item to generate in the console. It's a certificate. Apple mandates it for all communication with iOS devices, but guess what? It expires every year. So if you forget to renew this APNS certificate, you just lost all of your iOS devices. They will become unenrolled. You can re-enroll them after you generate a new certificate. Because guess what? If you let a certificate expire, then you have to actually create a new one and attach those devices to that new certificate. So that's why Apple unenrolls them, because they know that you're going to have to reattach them to a new certificate anyway. An APNS certificate is free. You just need to create a corporate Apple ID, which is the same as a personal Apple ID. It's just not attached to a single person. It's attached to an organization. And from there, the console will walk you through step by step with creating that APNS cert. It takes probably about 15 minutes, very easy to do. The next item that you'll want to address is auto-discovery. Auto-discovery is the process of registering an email domain with your AirWatch environment for the purpose of an end user enrolling their device with just an email address. And what this does is it simplifies the process of enrollment, and it removes all the confusion of entering server information or scanning a QR code when you can just say, hey, you already know your email address, go ahead and enroll with that information, and then you'll be good to go. So on the back end, we as administrators have to do a little bit more work before an end user can enroll with an email address. It's really just a couple of steps. You provide an email domain, this corporate, such as VMware.com. You provide a confirmation email address, such as johndoe@vmware.com. That administrator then checks their email, and there will be an authentication link in there for you to prove that you actually are the owner of that domain. After that, it's tied to your AirWatch environment. You can only tie that domain to one AirWatch environment, and then all of your end users will be able to enroll their devices with that purpose, just so they can get a device into the AirWatch environment using an email address. After that auto discovery, we want to make sure that we are protecting our environment and protecting our devices with privacy features. So this is a great way to lock your devices down, meaning what is actually going to be secured on those devices? Are we going to secure devices by tracking their location? Are we going to monitor minutes, text message usage, data usage on that device? Do we want end users to have different types of devices like corporate dedicated or employee owned? And do we want to allow them to have a friendly privacy notice that explains exactly what we're monitoring on that device? So this is where you're determining what data is collecting from the device, how it's sorted out between employee owned versus corporate dedicated. Because just to be honest, you're probably going to collect more data on your corporate dedicated devices versus your employee owned. And this is something you want to do before you get any devices enrolled, because if you're just automatically collecting the location on all your devices, and that's against one of your corporate policies, you can go ahead and put it into that before you get devices in your environment. The terms of use falls right in line with that privacy feature. Most likely, you're going to want to create a terms of use for your end users to agree to. That way they know exactly what's being monitored on those devices. It's up to you how much you put in the terms of use, but we suggest you make it very open and transparent, just so there's no gray area about what's being captured on their devices. Branding is going to take your environment from being an AirWatch environment into being your own environment. You can put your own logos, custom CSS styles, use hex value colors, take your marketing department, get those hex value colors for your company colors, add them to your AirWatch console, even change the login screen so you see company data when they first log in. And what this does is it makes it look like an official portal for them to log into instead of this different AirWatch or VMware access. You want your end user or your administrators, to see your company's information so they know that they're in the right spot. Now the branding affects their self-service portal. It's going to transfer those styles over there. The enrollment agent on the device, you're also going to see the same branding. as well as the app catalog. So all those items are going to utilize this system branding that you create here in the console. Next, we want to make sure that we are aware of what enterprise systems we can connect to. So first of all, you're not just going to isolate yourself with AirWatch, you're going to incorporate your on-premise entities and systems. So when you go to enterprise systems, you're really looking at all the connections we have to talk to your network, such as Active Directory, certificate integration, email relay, email management. All these items we can talk to and connect with, and you need to know those locations. So we do have you take a look at this enterprise systems immediately. So let's review here. What is the name of the certificate needed to manage iOS devices? Now this is going to be APNS, Apple Push Notification Services. This certificate is used for communicating securely with iOS devices. Apple mandates it. This is not a VMware AirWatch policy. This is something that every mobile device management solution needs to control iOS devices. You let it expire, all your devices are going to be unenrolled. You got to renew that certificate once a year. All right, so due to a user privacy policy, a company would like to configure AirWatch to collect but not display GPS location data for the administrator. Is it possible, and where would you set up this in the console? So user privacy policy, collecting data, those are all things that would tell me I need to go to the privacy settings in the AirWatch console. Now, you're going to just navigate to your system settings, go to devices and users, general, and you're going to see your privacy information there. Make sure you check that out before you configure devices.